The easiest way to create a report for SCCM is not in the SCCM console itself, but in the SQL Management Studio. So start that and log on with a user that has read rights on the SCCM database. Open up Databases and then select your CM database. Go to Views. Since we stored our data in a table called Monitor Details, our data will be contained in the view VGS Monitor Details. If you right-click it and select Top 1000 Rows, you can see a quick preview of what data will be contained here. To create a new report, go back to the Views node, right-click it, and select New View. You will receive an empty query and a quick menu that allows you to select your tables and views to act as a source. Change to the Views tab and then browse down to the Monitor Details. Select that and click the Add button. Since you also want to include some data in our reports about which users own a certain monitor, scroll further down and add the Console Usage Max Group view. We will also need some information about the computers themselves, so scroll down even further and add the System Valid view. Then you can close the menu. Next, we'll put a checkbox at all the columns that interest us for this report. We are mostly interested in all the hardware and inventory information about the monitor itself, as well as the name of the user that uses this computer, and the name of the computer itself, of course. We will also need to show SQL on how to connect these three different tables. In SCCM, what you use for this is always the resource ID column. Resource ID is a unique number that each system gets in SCCM. Click and drag to link the three resource ID columns to each other. Now you can click the Execute button and have a first quick look at what we will get out of this report. All the data that we want is here, but the column names are still not very nicely looking. So we go back up and we enter aliases for each of the columns to give a nicer name. You may also want to click and drag to reorder some of the columns. Execute the report again and you will see that it already looks much nicer now. Copy the source code of this report and save it somewhere so we can use it later. Now that we have our finished query, we can import it into reporting services. Create a new report and then give it a name and a category. After a bit of a wait, SQL Server Report Builder will open up with a new empty report. Here we add a new dataset. Choose the default data source and then copy and paste the report source code that we generated in the last part over into this window. You can have a quick look at the fields to check that all the columns of this report have been imported correctly. Next, we make a new table with the dataset we just created. Select all the available fields and drag them over to the values. Report Builder is a bit stupid here and automatically attempts to sum up all the numerical values. This doesn't make any sense for any of the numbers we use, so just deselect that. Now we can save our report and then browse to it for the first time on our reporting website. All the data that we want is already here, but we can still make it a bit prettier. So we go back to the report editor and adjust the column width. We might also want to be able to sort by year and size of the monitors. So right-click on the table headers, choose text box properties, then interactive sorting, and enable sorting. Now any report user can sort the table by clicking on the little arrow symbols. Another useful thing that we can add is a crosslink into a different report. For that, right-click the table cell, choose text box properties, and then click on Action. Select Go to Report, and then select the report that you want to link to. We will use the computer information report. Specify which parameter you want to pass on to the linked report. For us, this will be the PC name. Now, once we save and reload, we can quickly go to the computer information report by clicking on the first column.